They go, you got to get there and stop this. So we start running. We're like running, like the last mile. We get there, and there's tear gas and explosions, and it's just surreal. Like 100, 200,000 people are out there, and you see the scaffolding for the inauguration covered with people. I try to get to the head to stop it. I couldn't move. Alex Jones, blah, blah, blah. So I climb up on top of this pile of chairs. You played the clip earlier. I'm like, stop, turn around, because Trump was supposed to go speak at a platform on the other side. Never happened.
Of course.
And so Trump didn't intend for that to happen. He thought we'd have a big rally.
Well, he said peacefully and patriotically. He never planned it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he didn't plan that.
And I can say that because we did a rally in Michigan. It wasn't as big as this, but for Lansing, Michigan, it was impromptu, about the Whitmer death toll, about how she's been worse than probably Cuomo, about the death numbers. And, the media tried to say we had a few hundred people. We had 3,000 plus people. And I went out and I was very clear. I said, look, of course, we're not like the left. We don't call for violence. Of course, we want you to submit your own Freedom of Information requests to release this real number, which she's denied under the guise of emergency powers. But I do understand because I was very, very clear in what kind of a protest it was. And if something had gone sideways there, that would have been really tough for me to take, despite what I had told them. And sometimes that's the problem with a mob mentality. It becomes this sort of mass.
Well, that's the problem with power. I mean, you've got hundreds of thousands of folks that will show up, Steven Crowder, and exactly, you go wrong. So it was the nightmare. And I don't say this to be a victim. I'm not a liberal that says I'm a victim. I showed up and I saw 200,000 people in a minority attack at the Capitol, but I saw flashbangs and people beating police going in, and I literally got nauseous. And so the guys I was with were like, you got to stop this. And I was like, I agree. So I climbed up, tried to stop them. With the bullhorn, they couldn't hear me.
No, not at that point.
Not at that point. And then we go around the side, and the cops go, they already breached the side of the building. And I said, this is going to be what was the famous shooting at a U.S. college?
Columbine? No, wait, no, Virginia Tech?
I don't remember. It was a college. It was
Virginia Tech was a university one. I remember that was a big one. Columbine was a high school.
What was the college in the 60s got shot up?
Oh, were you talking about UT?
That was the UT shooter.
From the clock tower.
What was the guy? I'm sorry, I can't remember.
That's okay. I don't remember. We had
what
three
was the guy? What was the shooting at Penn State?
Oh, yeah, okay, Penn State. Yeah.
Penn State. I'm saying we don't want a Penn State and a woman got killed. Right. And I'm not even blaming the cop. I get it. Like she's crashing through, breaking the windows.
I understand, yeah.
I mean, they were told, hold the line. And I'm not defending her death. It's horrible. But that was like the worst part of my life. That was like experiencing power. Like I had this event. I did this at the president's request. I'm being blamed. What am I going to do? It was a nightmare. And then I saw the thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of tweets. Jones is commanding it. Trump is commanding it. And I knew it wasn't true. We commanded like Laurel and Hardy commanded, their show. We literally walked into a disaster.
Yeah. So what is it why do you say it makes you feel like the biggest sack of crap? Do you feel responsible for the violence even though you didn't call for it? Or do you feel
Yeah. I mean, they're trying to say that all I have is honesty because the left never does that. Yeah. I went back to the hotel room that night and my wife was like, what's wrong with you? And I started throwing up. And it was because like everything else I did was successful. And then finally there was this big event and it's the worst part of my life. It's the worst thing in my life. And then I watched these assholes claim that I wanted this, that I liked this, right. That I thought these cops and citizens getting killed was fun. And that's one thing about power is I never got off on power. But I always respected it, but I realized how dangerous it is.
Yeah.
And now there's all this talk about revolution and stuff, and it makes me sick because the left thinks they're going to start a revolution, have Antifa burn down cities, kill cops. They love it. They don't have any guilt about what happens with their people. And meanwhile, I didn't ask for this, and I feel the guilt, and it makes me so angry, Stephen, at them because they have no guilt for what they do, and then meanwhile, I can tell my listeners to burn down the country. They do it. I wouldn't do that because innocent people will get killed. And then they sit there and say, I'm behind this when I'm not behind it. And that's the difference between good people and evil people is I'm not ready to use that power and the left is just using it. And there's just murder and crime and breakdowns of society. And they think, Maxine Waters, go out and attack everybody. Nancy Pelosi, just go out. Who cares? Burning stuff down is what people do. So I can't imagine being them.